Good morning. My name is Kirsty Dignam, and I'm here to do a reading on the energies this week collectively. Now, these readings are the collective energy, as I've just said, but if anything applies to you, if anything is relevant to you, fantastic. If not, let go of anything that isn't. And as always, that is the best thing that we can do. What resonates with us? What is actually our truth, as only we know ourselves? Sometimes we don't believe that. Sometimes we can feel disconnected to that truth within us. And the whole purpose of this week's reading is to connect to our higher self. It feels prominent this week in particular that we don't spend too much time looking outside for answers, but to go within. Now, I always believe this is the first and most valid step in everything that we do, but this week in particular it feels really relevant to get my teeth back in, but also to state the obvious. That feels like the energy this week, to state the obvious. Sometimes we know the answers and we've always known them, but we just need something in life to come along and say hello. You knew this all along. So confirmation, really, and confirmation is an incredibly powerful thing, especially when it arrives in synchronicities around us or advice. So for example, this video, the key is to balance confirmation. The key is to ensure that it isn't just reciting back what we want to hear this week in particular, that it doesn't conform the nation into restrictions or boxes. This week feels very much about expanding our energy. So my own guidance this morning was at those times when we wish to contract, when we wish to go in, what felt very important today was to actually expand our energy, to actually step out of our own comfort zones. For me in particular, this has happened twice already. 3 times, actually 3 times. This being the second time I've recorded this video, because the first time was very much, the beginning was about not taking what I say as gospel and that this is merely guidance, and a little bit of protective, defensive energy coming through. So, second attempt at this video, and as I record this, I'm realizing today, 20 years ago, I went into labour. Today, 20 years ago, I started the process of birthing my own son. And we are the 1st of March and the sun is outside and it's shining and it feels like a new month, like a new beginning, like a chance to really deliver our light, emphasis on our light. And the third thing that has already come up for me this morning is my hair. It was tied back, it was neat, it was tidy, and it drove me nuts. So it had to come out, and what I clearly heard was let your hair down this week in particular. So in order to really connect to our light and birth that, to really let our hair down and not behave in, even as I say not, or should I have said not, actually just stating the obvious, not behaving in a protective manner, but expanding our energy and expanding our vision and expanding our light, like the universe is outside, that being the spring within us. So the guidance that I got this morning was by expanding my energy. And it's obvious, I know this, but sometimes we need reminding. By expanding my energy, I'm not trying to get a light that is too big for my body to come into a condensed space. I'm actually matching that light instead. I'm stepping into my soul rather than trying to squeeze my soul into physical form. Obvious, but sometimes just a little reminder of who we actually are and what we can actually step into in relevance this week. So I'm not going to make this video very long because my soul needs to be outside. My soul likes to connect to the earth. So I'm going to walk my dog and do some drumming. Just to ground that almost dreamy in between the worlds type energy. Very much this morning I can feel the old around me, but also I can sense something incredibly new being held in that energy, just like the new shoots that are coming through the earth, being held by the earth, by our souls, by whatever you want to call it. And just being in that dreamy energy, enjoying it. You know, we often get guided that when we're in a dream state, we're not very grounded. But actually, when we dream with our eyes open, it is that changes our environment. So feeling this energy and then looking at things from this perspective will really ground the world that you see this week in particular. So with that in mind, I'm just going to have a drink. And we will shuffle the cards to look at the energy for this week. It is going to be quick. I meant the reading, but maybe the energy this week is going to be quick, because with the tarot cards, I personally see it as the East on the medicine wheel, a time of being in the unknown in the North, but getting awareness of that energy through subconscious insights in the East. But then we go further to the South and we connect to the earth and we shed what has come up for us by being present, by being physical, by grounding and connecting to our body and what is initiated in that, with that awareness. And then we move around to the West and we reabsorb the lessons. We let them go by reabsorbing them as one. So I'm going to do the medicine wheel, actually. That's what I'm going to do for this week. Okay. Right. Interesting. So a lot of the cards have actually come out reversed. And in the North, the Ten of Pentacles, that wealth, that celebration of who we physically are and what we're here to physically do and teach and pass forward, and abundance, is upside down. And when I first saw it, because we're in the space of the unknown, I did wonder, is the whole pack upside down? Because that is upside down doesn't mean everything is going to be upside down. So in the unknown, we may question what it is we have to share this week. We may question our abundance, our connection, our family, our lives, what it is we truly want. By questioning it doesn't mean that we're not happy. By questioning it doesn't mean that we're actually confused. It means we are in the space of the unknown. And, you know, doubt can be a very powerful thing. Cynicism can be a very powerful thing, because it empowers us to look further than our own stories, the stories of others, even this reading. You know, to look further than what is actually in front of us. So really using that doubt this week in the space of the unknown. Okay, so if it isn't this, then what is it? Why don't I feel it is this that spurs me forward anymore? Not all the cards are upside down. And actually smack bam in the center is the Eight of Wands. Very, very fast energy. Very fast energy here of spirit and self. And what I really feel is a transition now, a transformation. It doesn't feel as if we are in the wrong place doing the wrong things. Moreover, that we've reached that 10, that pinnacle, that moment of change, to take things forward to another level. And when we acknowledge that, when we let go of the way that things were, for fear that, you know, these things have always fed us, they've always been what we've taught, they are our stories. When we actually let go of them, we can then take it up to another level. We can break outside of that box. So the actual energy, there's a lot of actuals going on, a lot of actualisations this week, but the actual energy in the centre for the soul is very fast and very infinite, and it feels like expanding ourselves into our soul now rather than our soul into what we do. So a lot of people will say that we are, spiritual beings in a physical body. How about being a physical being in a spiritual source? You see how that just expands that out a bit more. This is in the space. I felt that in my higher heart. Off it goes, off it goes. And freedom with that, freedom with that. To know that we are held by something far bigger than ourselves, rather than trying to bring that far bigger into us going into it. So in the East, 2 cards actually came out, and they are the 8 of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles is upside down. And what I see here is an awareness that we may not be as grounded as we think. However, it is the Page of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles is a young energy when it comes to grounding. In the East, it feels very much about seeing the reflection that you have given yourself, seeing the view of yourself. And you can find this by the views of others. So for argument's sake, this week, I have found a lot of energy being reflected back to me based on who I used to be. And I know in my truth that that isn't me anymore. But I'm getting this awareness coming up so that I can actually stand in that. The Page of Pentacles is a very young, grounded energy, but it's upside down. It's upside down next to the 8 of Swords. So even though this week in particular we may be tempted to go back to old behaviours of, oh, I can't let go of this, I need to hold on to this, this has always been my bread and butter, this has always been who I am, this is my reflection to the world. Think bigger than that. We are bigger than our jobs and our names and our families and our place here. And that isn't to disrespect what we do. It's actually to honour that. Yeah, we are so vast as beings that we have so many branches to us. When we become just one branch, that can actually really limit the views on ourselves and on each other. So seeing bigger here this week. And again, I really hear about connecting to the universe, about using the first insights as that initial insights, and then going outside and seeing how this pans out. So every day in our group, and I'll put a link in the comments, every day in our group I will do daily guidance, and I will do it first and foremost by connecting to my body through sacred space and my own healing. And then I will utilize the tarot cards or the runes, crystals, whatever. What I'm doing when I do that is connecting to another version of myself, my higher self. I don't actually look at the cards. 9 times out of 10, I tune into them first so that I can get over that mental block. And I tune into the message, and then I turn over the card. So this week in particular, before we look up what things mean, because ultimately what things mean is always someone else's opinion, before we look up the teachings of others, feel into our own teachings this week. So for me, that will be outside. For me, the communication will come through from the earth, and little insights. This morning I saw my cat. My cat is actually incredibly blind. And he's really struggled the last few months to navigate his way in this darkness. But now by calling his name, he knows that he's going off track. So by reminding him who he is, he gets back on his path. And I can really feel the resonance of that this week in particular for myself. So looking out for your own teachings. We all learn in different ways. We all study in different ways. We all communicate the symbolism of language in different ways. Really keeping an eye out for that this week in particular. So in the South, in the space of healing, we have the 6 of Swords, that transition energy. Another card that is reversed. Okay. And what I see here is our thoughts being below us, above us, no longer part of us, which is fantastic. To an extent, when we detach completely from our own thoughts or our own watery emotions. It's about getting that balance. It's about learning to navigate them. It's about feeling them and holding space for them, for the wisdom that they are, but without getting too attached. Okay, so the healing this week in particular feels like a shedding of emotional maturity of what once was in order to truly move forward. And then in the West, it's not new. That's what I hear. It's not actually new. In the West is the Ace of Swords. Now, the West is Otorongo. It is the place of the ego, the shadow, this world and the next, death, jaguar. The ability to walk the knife's edge between our mind and our emotions, our higher self, our physical self. I was going to say lower self. It's not new. It feels at time to see our physical self as a really valid part and component of our higher self. And just by doing that, just by recognizing that they're not separate as such, but one, we kind of smash out of all those molds. Yeah, we can just literally deep breath in. I am my higher self in this physical moment. And the moment we do that, this isn't new. There is no lower or higher. It's united. It's the self. So in the West is the Ace of Swords, and it is reversed. Okay, now what goes up must come down, and vice versa. Enlightenment, ascension, for me personally, is about applying what we know up here to life. Okay, it's okay to have insights, but the success of those insights rely on what you discover, what needs to be healed and let go of, and how you apply it to life. So you can have a spark, a creative idea, but unless you do something different with it, it will always be the same idea. So this week in particular with the Ten of Pentacles, what it feels like is we're not being asked to disregard everything, but to take it to the next level, to evolve on a soul level here, to surrender to that and allow it to be as quick as it actually wants to be. So what happens when we see it from a different angle? That feels really relevant. When we turn the cards up, not the right way, but upwards. My whole energy has changed. I can feel a real drop in my temperature. I can feel that I've gone up frequency-wise. I can really feel that. And that feels like the message. How do we do that? Let's look at things from a different perspective this week. Let's be open and curious to what may actually come up and see it as though it is the first time we are actually seeing it. It may not be new, but how we choose to see it, to experience it, can be new by being present. If we smell a rose, cliche as it sounds, the first time, as if it's the first time we've ever smelled it, or look at our own reflection as if it's the first time we've seen ourselves or each other, without those preconceived, I see them like cogs going round and round, those preconceived ideas. That's when we take the frequency up. That's when we truly open to the potential of ourselves and each other. This week in particular, that's how we bring the joy. So it may not necessarily be about doing something different, but about being different as you do it, more open, more expansive as you do it. So what have we actually got here? What have we actually got here? Let me have a quick 1919. I just looked and it's 1919. A real chance for a new beginning here. A new beginning. So, 2 Pentacle cards. Keeping that balance, applying what we are discovering to life. Okay. So for argument's sake, in the East, for me now, these cards with the Page of Pentacles and Eight of Swords truly speak to me about getting outside, getting grounded, and seeing what the universe has to say back to our initial communication. One sword card. Really connecting to the higher self this week and bringing it back down as well. Two sword cards. One sword card, and then I've just seen the other one actually as I talk about connecting to the higher self. Two sword cards actually. You see that light. And what I feel this week, I'm personally doing a 10-day session with photon light therapy, and I'll put the link to it in the comments, with an incredible shamanic healer. And I really can already feel vast amounts of light coming in, and that feels linked into this extra sun this week, into the extra energy this week. I hear all is a choice. All is a choice. Things can be new. They can be the beauty that we choose to see, the Ten of Pentacles that we choose to see. But it is a choice. We have to almost push through this week to say, that was then, this is now. That's how I used to think. That's how I used to see people. That's how they used to be. This is now. We owe it to ourselves and each other to expand our vision this week in order to truly embrace the change that's waiting to come. There is one wand card this week, and it does feel like reconnecting to our own passions and higher self and spirit and drive and ambition. By truly seeing it, truly seeing it. Is this relevant to me anymore? Is this how I choose to see things? That can be quite difficult sometimes when we're used to seeing things a certain way. It can be our comfort zone. You know, when we're used to seeing how we once were, we can almost get caught in old paradigms of energy within our own body, and that can cause unnecessary trauma. So letting go of that this week, allowing the body to catch up with the higher self and the higher self to catch up with the body for some. Really, really, really looking at the story that you're playing out on all levels. For myself, spiritually, energetically, emotionally, so much has changed. Physically, yeah, there's still room for catch up this week in particular for me. So, and it does feel like the cards in the East, truly seeing myself is going to help me with that process. Truly holding my physical body this week. All of us. Okay. So I noticed in the pack there was no major arcana, so I thought I would look I would look for more. Where is the higher aspects to this reading, the fate, the destiny? Where is it I need to look for more? And quite rightfully so, the card that came out is the Five of Wands. If you want more, if you're searching for more, be more. Keep climbing your own ascension here. See the light, keep aiming for the light, keep walking towards the light. Now, by light, I don't mean everything good. I don't mean everything bad. I mean connecting to your heart and your spirit and your higher self this week and truly seeing from all angles. It's that will elevate us. So have a wonderful week. I can feel a collective energy of, oh, what else? What else? What else? Go out and find it. Go out. This is an insight. The tarot is an insight. If it has sparked something in you, connect to that. Go and find your answers. Go outside. See what the universe has to communicate and look at things for the first time. If you want expanded vision, open your eyes. All of them. If you want more more in your life. You need to see more. Yeah, you need to feel more. You need to connect more, not by less. The energy this week very much feels like at a time when we want to almost withdraw. It is essential that we expand. Take care. Bye.